was just another sailor out on the Great Lakes Sea. Just another sailor, his destiny to meet. Just another sailor, his name was Dennis Hale. Working on the freighter, the Daniel J. Morrell.
It's funny the way life treats you sometimes. If somebody told me that this was going to happen to me, I would have never believed them. A lot of bad memories, a lot of pain, a lot of suffering. But I'm here, and that's all that really matters. I climbed aboard the Morrell November 28th, 1966, at about 7 o'clock in the morning. Sometime later that night, I was awakened by a loud bang. I rolled over onto my right side, facing one of the bulkheads, and about the same time, there was another loud bang, and all the books came off my bookcase at that point. As I opened my door, Al Wimmy was coming out of his door, and he said, "Oh my God, oh my God." And I said, "What is it, Al? What's going on?" As I looked towards the stern, I couldn't see the stern. The stern was hogged. I could see lights coming up where the stern would have been, but no stern. She was starting to tear, and it tore real slow like a piece of paper, and you could see sparks coming from it as it tore. And then the two sections separated. Somehow, the stern section came abreast of the bow section. And from where I was sitting on the bow section, I could look straight into the cargo hold. It was an oh shit moment. It was just so surreal. Am I really seeing this happen to me? What's going to happen? Is that going to come over us and wipe us all off the raft and kill us? Is it going to ram into us? I had no idea. When it got close enough, I just closed my eyes, held on the steel bar I was sitting on, and just waited for it to come over us. There's nothing I could do. But that's not what happened. I think we were hit by a large wave, and everybody was thrown overboard. By the time I got to the raft, there were two other fellas on it, and they helped boost me aboard, and then another fella came aboard. We helped boost him aboard. We went through the waves all night. And that 65-mile-an-hour wind would hit you at 33 degrees. The first thing you would hear is everybody gasping for air. Me, all I did out there was pray, and I prayed to die. You go through what's called a loss of faith syndrome out there, where you just, you don't care what the end is. You don't care if you live or die. You just want it over with. And all the time I was out there, that was a constant companion that you just don't care. By dawn, I looked at the kid in front of me, John Cleary, and there was like a white foam coming out of his mouth. And I jabbed him. I said, "John," I said, "are you okay? Are you all right?" And he didn't respond to me. So I jabbed him again. I said, "John." Called his name out several times. Didn't respond to me. Art Stojek was behind me. I took my elbow and I jabbed him with my elbow. I said, "Art, are you okay?" He didn't respond either. I jabbed him several times and called his name. No response. Charles Foshbender was behind my legs, and I kicked him. I said, "Fuzzy," I said, "are you okay?" He says, "Yeah, I'm hanging in there." After a while, I felt Fuzzy moving again, Charlie Foshbender. He says, he says, "I can see the beach." He said, "There's nothing but forest there." He says, "A lot of big rocks in the water, a lot of big boulders." He says, "It won't be long until you can feel the bottom of the raft hitting on the beach." And he sounded kind of strange. And I said, "Are you okay?" He says, he says, "Feels like my lungs are starting to fill up." I said, "Well, can't you cough that stuff out?" Well, he started coughing and he passed away. And he fell with his arm around me. I just wanted an end. I wanted an end to it. And I kept asking myself, why is God punishing me before I die? I looked at John Cleary, and he was encased in ice. And I went a little berserk. And I got up on my elbow and raised my fist to the sky and cussed God, the Holy Family, and told them all to go to hell, and I could make it on my own. And I laid back down and started chipping some of the ice off of John. I guess it was an act of love, envy, compassion, every emotion I had.
It was a cold, windy November afternoon at the Port Huron Times-Herald, and I was 28 years old and a 10-year veteran of the newspaper business by that time. And we got a call that there was a ship missing on Lake Huron and probably sank. We quickly got a crew together and got into the air as quickly as we could. And we flew up past Harbor Beach, looking closely on the shoreline for any remains of wreckage or any evidence. We saw a helicopter hovering on the water.
And I looked up and I saw it, and I waved to them. And I saw them land in the water on the beach.
And so I got the camera ready, and we made a pass. So here I am shooting away with my trusty old mechanical Nikon F and a 300 millimeter lens, the lens wide open. And so anyway, we're shooting whatever we could.
And two of the Coast Guardsmen got out of the helicopter and walked over to me, picked me up, and laid me on top of one of the other bodies on my back. And the first thing I said to them is, I love you guys, where the hell you been?
I was really disappointed with the first frame. This next frame was not good. And it was windy, the plane was buffeting, and so we're lucky to get anything. Finally, the good frame showed up, and I was really elated because it captured the moment. Get it in the enlarger quickly and make a print. And anybody that's done darkroom work knows that the reward comes when you finally see a print emerging in the developer. Ah, there comes the image. Yeah, that looks good. And there it is. I shouldn't be gleeful about making photographs of dead men on a raft, but this was an important moment. And here's what it was like. And so I think that's the essence of journalism.
Well, they landed at Harbor Beach, Michigan, on one of the docks there. And then they drove me to Harbor Beach Community Hospital. I was blue when they brought me in. They didn't know if I was going to make it or not. And priest came in and gave me last rites of the church, as well as confession. Well, actually, I had confession 3 times that night. I figured if I was going to go, I wanted my slate clean. It took years before I had all the feeling back in my legs and feet. Since then, I've had like 13 surgeries on my left foot. All I have on my left foot is a big toe. The other toes have been amputated, as well as the outside of my foot.
As we approached the anniversary of this, one of our reporters wrote him a letter and said, "Hey, this is the anniversary year, and we'd like to come and talk to you about it." He wouldn't talk to anybody about it. He wouldn't talk to newspaper, TV, anybody for 25 years.
I guess you could say I was kind of in hiding. And then he told me that there was a fellow there that wanted to meet me that had a gift for me. Well, a gift, that got my curiosity up. So I gave my address and told him to come on over.
I said, Dennis, I have a copy of the picture that I took. Would that disturb you to see it? Would you like to see it? He said, oh no, I'd like to see it.
He had this box in his hand, and he handed it to me. And I opened it up, and there was this painting in there, the photograph. And I looked at it, and it kind of made my worst dream come true when I saw that.
He sat in a chair staring at that for at least 4 or 5 minutes without saying a word. He just stared at that.
It was me on the raft with a helicopter next to me. And it just kind of, it's like somebody reached into me and just tugged on my heart.
That's all right.
Hold on. Let's get her back so we protect it there.
I met Dave Trotter. It was at least 5 years after the sinking.
You're right. I don't want to dance.
Well, all I can say is I'm 74 too, and you know, my motivation is to tell my story. And Dave comes across these shipwrecks, and I'm sure that once he finds them, he explores them pretty good. Good job, Dave.
Good job, Dennis.
Hey, I'll see you guys later, okay?
All right, let's stay in touch. Good seeing you again, Dennis.
And he finds a story there, and he wants to tell the story as well, because it's knowledge. It's something that's been lost, it's been refound. There's a history there, and there's a story behind it.
Schumer said, this wreck did not like me finding her. She was mad as hell at me.
He was just another sailor out on the Great Lakes Sea. Just another sailor, his destiny to make. Just another sailor, his name was Dennis Hale. Working on the freighter, the Daniel J. Morrell.
When we explore these shipwrecks,
Like a wave out on the storm-tossed
we
sea,
really see it as an
driven
underwater
by the
cemetery.
gale. But then he came to work and sail on the Daniel J. Morrell.
It's a place to be respectful and reflective.
Last run of the season came, was 1966. November storm was blowing hard, snow and rain were mixed. A crashing sound was all they heard, no time to signal help. They climbed aboard the life raft as the ship sank in the dark.
We explore these shipwrecks not only to remember them, but to also help tell their story so that they are always remembered in our Great Lakes.
Just 4 men left from the crew of the Daniel J. Morrell. Night turned into daytime, daytime into night. One by one their voices died from cold and wind and fright. Just one lonely sailor now, prepared to meet his end. But in the night a voice was heard, and this is what it said.
Sailors lost their lives on these vessels.
Go back and tell the story. Go back and tell the tale.
Many remained down there.
The men who lived and worked and died on the Daniel J. Morrell.
Lost to the Great Lakes.
Just another sailor out on the Great Lakes Sea. Just another sailor, his destiny to meet. Just another sailor, his name was Dennis Hale. Sole survivor of the wreck of the Daniel J. Morrell.